struggling Carlton Football Club and the under siege coach, Michael Voss. Kingy, you had a real close eye on this. I've seen some of your stuff over the weekend, but just your first thoughts on the Blues. Where do they take you this morning?
Well, I don't think anyone has a handle on where Vossi sits. There's only one man that can really answer it, and that's going to be Graham Wright at season's end. Or if he's made a decision now, we're not going to know. He'll keep his cards close to his chest. I just think we're all guessing.
Yep.
He will be assessing whether he's done a good job or not. But what I want to put on the radar this morning, I think they've got a list of players that they have way too much faith in. And there's a few that I want to mention. Adam Sard, he's Mr. Stoppage Woes, Adam Sard. I've never seen a player switch off like Adam does repeatedly at defensive 50 stoppages. Blake Acres, why don't they trust Blake Acres with a halfback flanking role? Why is he always a wingman? They've been searching for a halfback flanker. Why isn't it Blake Acres? I don't know if they can trust him as a halfback flanker. I think that's the only reason why he plays wing.
Is his ball use, is it just me, or is his ball use been horrific?
Yeah, it's dropped right off.
Horrific.
So maybe a reset, reprogram him a little bit, see if we can get a bit more out of him. Sam Doherty, 22 contested possessions in 5 weeks, just not doing enough.
No, you could see that the writing was on the wall for Sam early on in the season. Unbelievable career, not a respected player more in the game than him, but the time is up, so that will come to its natural conclusion. That should probably be now.
And the last of my four is Adam Chera. He's just a head above water type player. Never good enough to swing a game, never bad enough to drop. Just always the same output. It's a consistent 23, 22 disposals, half a dozen clearances, half a dozen score involvements. Just enough, right? But never grab a game by the throat and just rip it to shreds.
It is. It absolutely is the perfect way to describe his career. He threatens to be a grade player, but never has reached that. And there's been a lot more faith in him for potential than performance. And you look at the contract extensions that he always gets, it's long-term stuff. They gave up a big price to get him and then re-sign him for 5 years. So I agree with that. Just in terms of their personnel, and that's where the discussion also needs to go, as well as Michael Voss and the game style and all of that. If you ever listen to Chris Scott speak, he speaks about when Geelong were still a good side, but not to the level that they thought. He had a lot of midfielders that couldn't run. Good players that couldn't run. And I guess the biggest change that they've made to their team is they've just brought in athletes. All of their players can now run through the midfield. Go through them. Blitzarve has always been able to run, but close place, high half forward, Myers play, they can run. Holmes and Bailey Smith can run like you would not believe. They can all run. Carlton can't run. Like, other than Sam Walsh, and I think even Sam has his struggles covering the ground now with his injury. They can't run. And you look at the way that the game is going and ball movement and speed and pressure on the ball, they can't do any of it. So I don't know if it's even an effort thing. I just think it's physically they cannot go. So how you revitalise this group, how you get some athletes into the side, I think the same discussion happens around Melbourne with Petrarca and Oliver and Viney when they're all in there together. It's no good. So the game's changed quickly, and it's not just about contest and clearance anymore.
Can I just put this on the radar as well? I'm concerned that the excuses or the reasons they're giving for this season too often are brought back to Jagger Smith. There's a guy that hasn't even played for your footy club.
That's true.
He's a high draft pick. It is unfair for them to put this pressure on a kid who just needs to come in and just find his feet and just become part of the AFL program. We haven't sighted him yet. I know he's going to be a good player. He's a high draft pick. We all accept that. But don't think that he's going to come in and solve all of Carlton's issues. I'm getting... Just let him breathe. Yeah. He's not going to be Chris Judd the moment he walks in.
I agree with that as well. So the comparison here is probably Sid Draper at Adelaide. How Adelaide have used Sid Draper? It's been mainly sub. Come on, give him a taste of it. He might have played and started 1 or 2 games. There's been glimpses and you go, gee, I like that. But there's been some things you go, okay, well, he's not quite ready, so let's send him back to the perfect. Probably the same with Levi Ashcroft. There's been some things in his game you go, oh, I don't really like that, but then there's some things that he does well. But they're not asking him to be their 3rd or 4th best midfielder now. So
if you ask anyone at Carlton, what's going on this year? Oh, well, Jagger Smith, he would have done this, he would have done that. I'm thinking, guys, He's a first-year player. Just let him be, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, Blues fans, you can send us your thoughts. I mean, the instant reaction is to always go for the coach. I'm of the belief that let him see out next year. I mean, unless there's like, who are you going to go and get? Who's the coach? Is it Longmire? Is it Simpson? Is that where their attention would be drawn to if they wanted to sack the coach? Who is out there? And it would be another sacking at Carlton. There's been a few in the last 20 years. I'd just be looking to reset the playing list, see what happens with the coning, get some support around Michael Voss in terms of his ball movement. I'm not sure sacking the coach is the right way to go again.
Yeah, I always think, and this is nothing to do with Michael Voss. My philosophy on the coach: as soon as you decide he's not the man to take you to the premiership, purge. But you've got to be bulletproof in that decision. How have you arrived at that decision? It can't be a short-term thing. You've got to have a look at the list, what opportunity he's been given through consistency of availability, those sorts of things. I think Vossi's done a pretty good job. You know, the previous couple of years, they've made a prelim when no one expected them to make a prelim. So I think he's shown that he can get the best out of this group. It does need a bit of tinkering with the way they play. It's too brutal to sustain for 120 minutes.
And they've got to look at no issue with the amount of entries that they get. Clearly that the biggest issue is that connection, but what was it, plus 14 in entries again against North Melbourne? Now those numbers were probably skewed in terms of the last quarter and the way that it looked for three quarters was different. But a word on the Kangaroos, Kingy, like you